All right, how you guys doing today? About to hop into a little reaction. And first things first, though, just want to make sure y'all like that video up. You already know what to do. Hit a little exit full screen, scroll just a little bit, like the video, then full screen it back up. You feel me? So if you can tell, I got a little bit of sweat on my brow. That's because we was playing Just Dance in a hot basement filled with a bunch of freshmen. Right, I'm doing orientation at my school, and let me tell you, today was so fun. The kids were so great. Everything was great. So there are a bunch of incoming freshmen. I'm a senior in college now, and it was so fun. We were playing Just Dance in the basement. I was talking with these two dudes from my group. It was just great, right? But today's video is coming from the one and only Illustrated Theology, right? Ain't nobody doing it like them. You feel me? And this video is titled, why did the demons ask Jesus to enter the pigs, and why did Jesus grant the request? So if you're unfamiliar with the story, Jesus was out in the wilderness, right? And some guy was out there and he was possessed, right? I believe he was like what we would call today a schizophrenic or an epileptic, something along the lines of seizures, right? And this is the demon that said, I am Legion, right? This is why Legion is a bad word, quote unquote bad word, right? And you see it in pop culture at points where it's like Legion this, Legion that, and you're like, I don't know if the word Legion in English comes from that name or whatever the case is. That'd be a good research topic. Maybe I'll check that out after the video, right? It's a little treat for y'all then. But anyway, the point being, he was epileptic or whatever, had a demon. The demon said, I am Legion, whatever. Why do you terrorize me, Lord? And Jesus said, I'll command you out of these, whatever. And they said, send us to the pigs, please. Sent him. Jesus obliged his request for some reason, right? We don't know yet why. I don't even know why, right? Sent him into the pigs, and the pigs ran off the hill into the water and drowned themselves. You may be thinking, firstly, why did they want to enter pigs? Secondly, why did Jesus do that? Why did he let them go into the pigs? And thirdly, why did they drown themselves? All that I know at the end is that the man was clean because Jesus forgave his sins and cast out the demon. Anyway, let's check it out.
Why did the demons ask Jesus to enter the pigs? And why did Jesus grant their request? This passage holds greater relevance than it might initially seem and conveys a profound lesson that every follower of Jesus should know. In Matthew 8:28 and following, it is written, And when he had come to the other side into the country of the Gergesenes, there met him two possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs, exceedingly fierce, so that no man might pass by that way. And behold, they cried out, saying, What have we to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time? And there was a good way off from them a herd of many swine feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, If thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine. And he said unto them, Go. And when they had come out, they went into the herd of swine. And behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea, and perished in the waters. And those who kept them fled, and went their ways into the city, and told everything, and what had befallen the possessed of the devils. And behold, the whole city came out to meet Jesus. And when they saw him, they besought him that he would depart out of their borders. This story is quite intriguing, but before we dive into the more complex questions, we must first understand that this text offers some very clear lessons. 1. The gospel is available to everyone. The herd of pigs, considered unclean according to the law of Moses, indicates that Jesus was in Gentile territory, as Jews would never raise pigs. This highlights the universality of Christ's ministry, which reached not only Jews but also Gentiles. At the same time, it shows that Jesus was rejected not only by Jews, but also by Gentiles.
Yeah, that was a crucial element I forgot to mention, was that he was cast out of the town when they found out what he had done, right? And two, I never even thought about to think that deep, that like they wouldn't eat pigs. So why were people hurting the pigs? Because they weren't Jews. That's good. That's why we watch reactions. We get a little bit deeper understanding that we didn't think before.
2. The demons recognized Jesus' authority. While the disciples were still questioning who Jesus was, astonished by his power over nature after calming a storm, the demons immediately recognized him as the Son of God. This demonstrates that his divine identity was undeniable, even in the spiritual realm. This recognition was not out of reverence, but due to a forced understanding of who he is and his sovereign authority. Even though they knew who Jesus was, they still hated him. And that is truly demonic. The demons fear final judgment. The demons' question, Have you come here to torment us before the appointed time?" reveals that they are fully aware of the final judgment awaiting them. This time refers to the moment when God will execute ultimate judgment on Satan and his angel. Their fear upon seeing Jesus shows that his presence already foreshadowed their future condemnation, reinforcing for us that evil's days are numbered. 4. Jesus' power is enormous.
And I know you guys feel that, right? Even if you're Christian or not Christian, right? When you feel that overwhelming sense of like justice or joy or whatever, it consumes you, right? When you feel that you're doing something wrong, it consumes you, right? That guilt that consumes you with sin and God reaching out to you, much like they felt the power of Jesus around them and was trembling with fear, saying, "Have you come to torment us?" Because they knew what it was, right? They knew what they were doing was evil. They knew that they were beings of evil, and that was bad, right?
The deliverance of two men possessed by a legion of demons, which subsequently manifested in a herd of about 2,000 pigs, emphasizes the magnitude of Jesus' power. No matter how severe the case or how many evil spirits are involved, Christ is able to bring complete deliverance. This display of power shows us that no situation is beyond his reach. He has absolute dominion over the spiritual and physical realms. All of this is fascinating. But why did the demons ask to enter the pigs in the first place? Since no other text makes this clear, we can only propose a few possibilities. First possibility, desire for a physical home. According to the biblical account, demons constantly seek a place to inhabit, as they seem to feel incomplete or uncomfortable without a physical home. In Matthew 12:43-44, Jesus mentions that unclean spirits wander through dry places seeking rest, but only feel satisfied when they find a body or living being to possess. Asking to enter the pigs may reflect their desire for a physical space to express themselves, even if temporarily, since they had been expelled from the men and needed a new host. This reveals the parasitic nature of demons, which depend on something material to exert their influence and cause destruction. However, the pigs, once possessed, immediately rushed into the sea and drowned. If the demons had known this would happen, they probably wouldn't have made the request, since their goal was to continue exercising their malice in a new host, not to be expelled to wander through dry places again. Second possibility.
I think it's also important to know that, right, we are living souls. The Bible makes that clear, right? Humans are living souls. God breathed life into the thing, blah, blah, blah. We are souls. And with that, maybe being in a living host means to the things, right? Anything with life, living soul. And these demons, without that, there's something different, right? They're a soul, but maybe they're not an alive soul. But when they get a body, they're alive or something along those lines. Maybe that's what the case is. I don't know, though. Let's keep listening.
Hatred for God's creation. Another possibility is that they knew what would happen: the death of the animals. However, since demons harbor a deep hatred for everything God created and considers good, including humans and animals, they may have entered the pigs with the intent of destroying them. Leading the animals to self-destruction demonstrated their destructive essence in opposition to God's creation. This act can be seen as an extension of their desire to cause maximum suffering, whether by ruining human lives or destroying animals, which are also part of God's creation. By driving the animals into the abyss, the demons not only revealed their chaotic nature, but also attempted to sabotage the harmony of the physical world, which was originally created to reflect God's glory. Third possibility.
And with that too, right, killing the pigs means you're killing a food source, which means food insecurity, which might mean starving people to death or making life uneasy, altering people's mental state, causing more people to sin as a result, right? So very long-term type of situation they were trying to gain from.
A strategy to harm Jesus. Another possibility is that the demons requested to enter the pigs with the strategic purpose of stirring up hostility among the local population toward Jesus. By causing the entire herd to plunge into the sea, they inflicted significant financial damage on the community, as the pigs were a source of livelihood, and they succeeded. As a result, the people asked Jesus to leave, despite the miracle of deliverance he had just performed. This behavior demonstrates the demon's intent to use circumstances to discredit Jesus and drive people away from him, even after a clear demonstration of his power and compassion. Now we come to an even deeper and more complex question. Why did Jesus grant the demons' request? Although we don't have a definitive answer, we can observe some clues in this context. 1. Jesus exposed the true nature of evil. By allowing the demons to enter the pigs, Jesus visibly revealed the true essence of evil: destruction and chaos. The demons, incapable of doing good, immediately led the pigs to self-destruction, making it clear that their sole purpose is to distort and destroy everything God created. This tangible demonstration served as a powerful warning to all who witnessed the event, showing that evil, even when disguised or seemingly harmless, always results in ruin. Thus, Jesus turned the herd of pigs into an instrument to expose the malignancy of the demons and teach a profound spiritual lesson about the need for deliverance and divine protection against the forces of darkness. 2. A critique of the region's priorities. Jesus' permission for the demons to enter the pigs also serves as a critique of the distorted priorities of the region's inhabitants. After the miracle, instead of celebrating the deliverance of the possessed men, the people were more concerned with the financial loss caused by the pigs' death. This shows that they valued their material possessions more than the restoration and salvation of human lives. Their attitude implicitly critiques their priorities, revealing that they preferred pigs over people and swine over the Savior. Here lies the great lesson often overlooked in this passage. It teaches us that we can easily fall into the same trap, prioritizing our material possessions, comfort, or personal interests above the presence of Jesus and what he is doing in our lives. We must evaluate whether we are willing to give up our resources, plans, or anything else that prevents us from wholeheartedly following Christ. The key question is, do we value Jesus more than our possessions, status, or sense of security? Just as the Gadarenes asked Jesus to leave because of the loss of their pigs, we risk expelling him from certain areas of our lives when he confronts us with difficult choices. May we always choose the presence of Christ above all else, recognizing that nothing compares to the priceless value of knowing and following him. Now, if you want to study the scriptures, check out my mind maps of every book of the Bible. This material is super comprehensive and was developed to help you understand any book of the scriptures quickly and practically.
All right, so it seems the main point, right, at the end of the day was to accomplish some sort of evil, whether that be from the death of the pigs or what that represented. And secondly, that it just leads to Jesus' triumph over all. Jesus has so much power, and he told us even that those who believe in my name and call on me will do greater works than I have done. We can do greater works than that if we just call on his name. Right, so I think that's a beautiful illustration of that, and we should take this in our faith walk to show that not only can we do great things with the power of Jesus, but he was able to display great feats of power as well, working for the good of the land. All right, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.